Eiji, an ugly, disgusting loner, once wished upon a hot fairy that led to a global disaster. In the present, he gets roped into a shady organization, hoping that they will cure his sister who is about to kick the bucket. However, things start taking a turn to the worst when Eiji realizes he might not have caused the calamity, and that a more sinister plot is at play. However, before any of this, Eiji wakes up next to his sister after having a bad dream. He then goes to his school, but as the teacher refuses to teach the reproduction topic once again, he walks out of class. Eiji thinks about how the world was destroyed because of a wish he made a decade ago, and now he is one of the people called Order, hated by many. Back at home, Daisy, the fairy who granted his wish, is present. He confronts her for creating more orders. She dismisses his blabbering and mentions how his wish wasn't world destruction. He then asks her about the wish he made, but Daisy refuses to tell him and says that she looks forward to him using his powers once again. Following that, his sister, Cena, asks if he got himself a baddie but refuses to believe him when he agrees. He then reassures Cena that she will get over her sickness and go to school as well. Just then, the news of an order causing destruction airs on TV and Cena wonders if Eiji is an order as well, but he refuses. Cena then comments on how she will wish to be with him forever if she were an order and for their parents to return back to life. The next day at school, a new student introduces herself as Rin. Later, Eiji finds Rin standing outside his apartment and wonders if she followed him. Turns out she moved to the floor above, but the key to her door broke. She asks him to call the locksmith for her. Eiji agrees, but Rin gets behind him and tases the living hell out of him. After some time, he wakes up and Rin mentions how she is an assassin sent to eliminate him. She further tells him that her parents were eliminated in the great destruction that he caused 10 years ago with his wish. She then stabs his hand, and just when Rin is about to eliminate him, Eiji's unknown powers cause her to stab herself, allowing him to run away. Afterward, he starts freaking out about how others might come after him as well and his identity as an order might be revealed. In a helicopter, another one of Rin's comrades, Fran, realizes that she failed her mission. During a meeting between the other comrades, it is announced that Rin failed her mission and now Fran will take her place. Meanwhile, Eiji calms down after talking to Cena and goes to a hospital where he finds Cena along with Rin. Some armed men surround Eiji while Rin takes Cena to the elevator and stabs her in the back. This results in Eiji raging and later finding himself in front of Daisy. She mentions how he lost sight of himself and beat down the guards surrounding him. Daisy also informs Eiji that Rin is an order as well and has the power of immortality. He asks Daisy the reason behind her appearance, and Daisy replies that she wants to see him use his powers as it might remind Eiji of his wish. Apparently, she limited his powers to a 10,000th to how it was 10 years ago. He then goes to fight the guards and later finds himself standing in front of Rin. All the guards around Rin start firing at him and she takes out her sword. Thinking that he is eliminated, she heals his sister, only to realize that it wasn't her doing. Turns out Eiji forced her to heal using his powers. He finally found out that he can bend everything to his will with his powers. Eiji then restricts her movements, and his monster servant protects him from bullets. The monster then grabs everyone with his strings and gets ready to stab Rin with one of the blades. Fortunately, Rin's immortality saves her, but she still can't bring herself to attack Eiji because of his powers. Rin mentions how her not avenging her parents makes her life pointless, but Eiji comments on how she can still meet new people and might even fall in love. This results in her accepting to be with Eiji as it might improve her chances to one day eliminate him. Just then, Fran appears and uses his time-related powers to appear behind Eiji. In the end, Eiji gets captured by them and wonders what happened to Cena. Luckily, Rin appears and starts untying him, mentioning how she was also imprisoned for violating orders. Apparently, they are in the Dazefu city government office, which is now restored as the center of Kyushu's interim governance mechanism. Eiji then notices all the corpses of the guards and Rin says that they will be breaking out of there. Suddenly, she tries to eliminate Eiji once again but realizes that it's impossible to fight his domination. Following that, the two of them travel through a duct, giving Eiji the chance to stare at her rice cakes. She then tries shooting him once again, but the bullet ends up hitting her in the head instead. Afterward, they end up in the plant room and have to walk on pipes. Eiji realizes that she once again fell to her demise while trying to push him. They then walk through the trap room where Rin loses her life multiple times and Eiji later asks her to give up. However, Rin refuses to do so and starts calling Eiji by his first name. She then gives him a hug and grabs his meat, saying that her heart won't be his. Finally, they are at the exit but Eiji tries to go help Cena. Rin tries to stop him and Eiji tells her about Cena's wish. Turns out she is his stepsister, who always wished for a big brother and now wants to live with him forever. He then starts yelling at Rin for revealing his secret, making her pissed. Eiji tells her that Cena only has 6 months to live and it would have been better if she didn't know. Just then, the guards appear and he tells Eiji not to get in his way. Following that, Eiji calls his monster Bind Dominator, who takes care of the guards. Rin tries to stop Eiji by holding him at gunpoint, agreeing to help him as she can't watch him getting eliminated by someone other than her. After fighting the guards, the two of them appear in front of Fran. Rin throws grenades at him and Eiji figures how he will be forced to use his 3-time stops to keep the grenades from exploding. However, he catches the grenades instead and tosses them up while Eiji runs towards him. Rin realizes that one of them has to stop the grenades or both of them will lose their lives. Suddenly, another person appears and uses his ceasefire powers to forbid any further aggression. This stops the grenades as well and the other order arrives at the same time. Surprisingly, they tell Eiji that he passed the test and start by introducing themselves. Yoshitsune tells Eiji that his sister's disease is currently halted using Frank's powers and that they never intended to harm him. He further tells Eiji that a new world was created after the Great Destruction, and the Orders are the beings that will lead this new world. They plan to treat Cena and declare war upon the world by making him their king. Eiji wonders what will happen if he refuses and Yoshitsune replies that it would mean he will have to fight the entire world as he caused the Great Destruction in the first place. This results in Eiji using his abilities to make all of them follow his orders. In the end, Eiji agrees to their terms and Kyushu declares war upon the world with Eiji being their ringleader. But the people are more furious at Eiji for being the one responsible for the Great Destruction. Meanwhile, Yoshitsune tells Eiji that Cena will live as long as she is frozen in time and Eiji agrees to fulfill their wish so they can treat Cena later. On the other hand, Rin, who has been imprisoned, is finally let out. Eiji also takes part in the Kyushu meeting where they talk about capturing Yamaguchi as their first step. They put forward the idea of sending Eiji to the front lines, but he argues and advises them to strengthen their defenses instead. This results in Mary refusing to tell him the rest of her plan, telling him to just follow orders. Eiji then goes back to his room and thinks about how it doesn't feel like he is the one controlling them and wonders if the reason is him being a freak who owns anime body pillows. Suddenly, Io hands him a gun, saying that her future abilities say that it'll be alright. Later that day, Mary schedules a meeting between the Prime Minister and Eiji. He starts off by confirming that Eiji is the leader and is planning everything. After that, he reveals the Kanto area family members of the group of 10, saying that they will be executed. They start slashing their heads while the group of 10 watches in silence. The Prime Minister blames Eiji for creating such a ruthless world. He then orders to eliminate the child, curious about how Eiji might react. Suddenly, Eiji starts shooting Mary and the others present in the room. This makes the Prime Minister realize that Kyushu wasn't the one pulling Eiji's string and he is the real deal. Turns out Eiji used his powers to stop the bullets at the last moment. Just then, Rin appears, and he shoots her in the head as well. Following that, Eiji declares war once again and ends the live stream. Later that day, Eiji along with Rin arrives at the Kanmen Tunnel, and the invasion of Yamaguchi officially commences. On the other hand, Eiji plans on showing off his powers to the group of 10 and forcing them to search for a cure for Cena's illness. He also mentions how Mary will tell him the plan after they leave the tunnel. Suddenly, the tunnel starts collapsing and even Eiji's domain is not enough to stop it. The guards decide to run away and just then, Io arrives and uses her powers of prediction to lead them out of this mess. Luckily, they manage to escape the tunnel and Io tells them that they need to avoid combat and secure the target location. Eiji argues about how he was supposed to fight the rock god but Io refuses to engage in combat. This makes Eiji frustrated and he notices Io's ribbons. When he tries touching them, she moves away and says that his touching them might make her pregnant. Additionally, she informs him that her wish was to receive a divine sign which came true. Shockingly, the rock god appears and Eiji's puppet doesn't work against him. For the time being, they decide to hide in a tunnel and Eiji plans to find the rock god's order. Io volunteers to find his location but her ankle is twisted. Eiji decides to help her out and accidentally touches her ribbons, making her tear up. Elsewhere, Rin notices a little child wandering around and saves her. Simultaneously, an order appears and introduces herself as Kagekyo. Io advises Eiji to leave as it is getting dangerous. Meanwhile, Kagekyo asks Rin to join her side instead as the two of them share the same goal, which is to eliminate Eiji. She then mentions how a nuclear missile is going to strike Yamaguchi, and the UN is the one firing it. Even orders are unable to stop a nuclear missile once it's fired. Turns out the UN already knew about Kyushu's plan, making Rin wonder how they knew. Elsewhere, Io, who is now tells Eiji about the nuclear missile. For the time being, he takes her to the hospital where the doctor informs them that she is safe for now. The nurses start bringing her food and Eiji wonders how he got her down without getting any action. Io then advises him to run away, but he tells her to shut up and notices a huge antenna. On the other hand, Kagekyo is still following Rin, who is thinking about how she is wearing G-strings. Eventually, she gets tired of Kagekyo's attempt to manipulate her and decides to fight her. Eiji also manages to break the antenna that brings back their communication, and he orders everyone to eliminate Kagekyo. Furthermore, he is confident that the Un can't strike until they know his location, but Kagekyo is already aware of where he is, considering how he broke the jamming antenna. At the same time, the missile is launched and Yoshitsune orders his personnel to abandon Eiji and retreat. Meanwhile, Kagekyo attacks Eiji at the hospital, but he defends himself and decides to let everyone evacuate. She uses this opportunity to reveal Eiji's real identity to all the people present. On the other hand, Ayahito arrives where Rin is restricted, saying that he has no reason to save her. The people start hating Eiji and Kagekyo tells him that her wish was to put people's resentment to rest. Nonetheless, Eiji advises everyone to evacuate when the doctor appears and stabs his back. Kagekyo also receives a call about Eiji being alone as the Kyushu's personnel have retreated. Turns out, Ayahito was the one giving intel to the enemy. Surprisingly, Eiji still gets up and uses his ability to make everyone come under his command, including the rock god. Kagekyo mentions that the missile is about to hit anyways, but he uses his powers to control gravity, which doesn't work, but the rock god manages to catch the missile. Just then, the other Kyushu commanders arrive and get rid of the missile. Surprisingly, the Un launches another missile and Yoshitsune decides to talk to the Un in the meantime. He proposes a deal, but they refuse, saying that Yoshitsune is their next target anyway. Eiji decides to run away, but Kagekyo tries to stop him by commanding the rock god. Eiji commands it as well, making it unable to do anything. She tells Eiji that his grave sins will never be forgiven. Luckily, the commanders decide to help Eiji out as a thank you for saving the hostages earlier. The second nuclear missile is about to hit, but the rock god starts falling apart. The debris falls on the people, but Eiji saves them, making Kagekyo rethink her decision of eliminating Eiji. Nonetheless, the three of them try their best to stop the missile and Kagekyo starts encouraging Eiji as well. Rin is enjoying a relaxing bath on her own and looks at the chain of domination of her hand that signifies her submission to Eiji. Just then, Kagekyo appears out of nowhere and suggests eliminating Eiji together while grabbing Rin's milk factory. Rin eventually agrees, making Kagekyo overjoyed. Mary also arrives and informs them about the order they acquired to neutralize nuclear missiles. Kagekyo then starts playing with her plot as well until Mary stops her. She then goes to examine Nin's barely visible talents and starts teasing her as well. Elsewhere, Lauren arrives and tells Eiji about his sister waking up. With that being said, they are on their way to Cena and Eiji thanks Rin for saving him during the Yamaguchi accident, making her blush. After reaching the headquarters, Eiji confronts Yoshitsune and he informs Eiji that the government has accepted their request to treat Cena. Furthermore, she doesn't remember what happened because of her injuries. This makes Eiji realize that he will just be forced to keep lying to Cena. Yoshitsune then talks about her disease in front of Cena and says that there are no successful treatments and he should keep himself prepared. Eiji reassures Cena that they will treat her no matter what, and she mentions how she wanted to go to school with him with tears in her eyes. Yoshitsune then tells Eiji about an order who can cure any disease and he decides to visit him right away. Meanwhile, Yoshitsune receives the test results of Cena, and after realizing that she is the daughter of a certain man, he now thinks of a way to control her and avoid the second great destruction. Later, Eiji finds out that Yoshitsune has already taken Cena away and goes after him. He uses his powers to bring Cena back to him, but Yoshitsune's powers make Cena disappear, and Mary pins Eiji down to the ground. He forces him to go on another mission, and their goal this time is to take control of Hiroshima. He took the Yakuza under control, which made everything easier. Then, he and Rin buy some snacks for each other, and after sharing it, he mentions that they shared an indirect kiss, making her embarrassed. Meanwhile, Io asks Yoshitsune about a question related to Eiji's power, and he replies that the order with the similar power to his will be more dominant as his wish is newer. At the same time, Rin goes to buy some more snacks and another order rewrites Eiji's domination and eventually appears in front of Eiji, introducing himself as Hatori from the Un. He mentions that Eiji will be losing his life and simultaneously, Rin appears as well. She, who is under Hatori's control, starts attacking Eiji and he tries controlling her once again, but it doesn't work. She starts off by slashing Eiji's hand off, but luckily, Benkei and Io arrive to assist Eiji. Yoshitsune decides to head over to Hiroshima as well. Benkei uses his powers and starts battling Rin while Eiji says that they need to bring Rin back to normal. Io advises Eiji to retreat and informs him that the group of 10 was initially made to fight Hatori. Suddenly, Rin appears and Io takes the strike and Eiji defends himself with a barrier. He then hits Hatori with a rock, but Hatori doesn't care about his injuries as he is also a puppet for the main order. His powers then start enveloping Eiji, and at the same time, Yoshitsune arrives and uses his reality-changing powers to save Eiji and treat everyone's wounds. He then punches Hatori in the face and Aikido arrives as well, resulting in him and Rin escaping. Eiji asks Yoshitsune about the man who was controlling Hatori, but before he can reply, Daisy arrives and says that he is Eiji's father and his name is Jeni. Eiji can't believe it as he was supposed to have lost his life during the incident, but Daisy tells him that Rin and Hatori are heading to Izumo. Later that day, Io and Eiji are enjoying ramen together and he realizes that he left his wallet with Rin. Luckily, Io reassures him that the Dazefu office will cover their expenses. Seeing that he is still worried, Io uses her powers and gives him a divine sign that his rotten brain fails to understand. Following that, the two of them are traveling and Io thinks how she might be like his wife, now that they are having a child. But Eiji mentions Rin, making her realize he was thinking about her all this time. Afterward, they finally reach the cave ruins, which is the entrance to Yomi. The two of them head inside as mentioned in the divine sign, but the cave starts falling, making Eiji carry her to safety. She uses her powers again, which tells her to move forward. However, she thinks that her predictions might be incorrect and Io tells him to go right. This results in her falling into water and Eiji managing to save her life. Later, he apologizes to Io for making her come along as these types of things are not for her. This results in Io crying due to the fact that he always dismisses her and thinks about Rin instead. She then showcases her washboard of a body to Eiji, which doesn't make him anywhere near as excited as he is with Rin. Suddenly, a few people appear out of nowhere and welcome them to Kamehakari. She introduces herself as Kuroko, the Miko of Izumo, and starts shouting at Eiji for still being soft even when a woman's body is right next to him. She then starts making up weird situations between them, making both Eiji and Io embarrassed. Io then tells Kuroko that they came to ask for help, but she refuses. According to her, Kamehakari is an important ritual and she can't cancel it for a boy with small meat. However, she agrees to rethink her decision if Eiji beats him at a game. According to the rules, if she drops the ball she is holding, Eiji wins, but he can't use any powers. Nonetheless, Eiji gives it a try but fails to take the ball. Kuroko tells him that her order allows her to manifest the gods, making her a superhuman. Following that, Io starts helping Eiji using her divine powers, but he still fails to grab the ball. Eventually, he gets tired and decides to rest for a bit. During this break, Eiji tells Io that he is not really familiar with this romantic stuff, but she reassures him that her love is real and they decide to play the game once again. This time, Io doesn't say the predictions out loud but signals Eiji instead, making them get closer to the ball more and more. They both decide to give it their all and finally manage to grab the ball. Just when Kuroko is about to grant their wishes, Fumi from the public safety arrives to eliminate her. He uses the powers of water to drown the three of them, but Eiji uses his own powers to control air and make an air pocket for them. Kuroko advises Eiji to merge with Io once again, and after hesitating for a while, he agrees. Both of them use their powers together, which gives Eiji's puppet a new look. It manages to predict Fumi's attacks and takes him down by controlling a bunch of fish. Suddenly, Daisy appears and Fumi tells them that Daisy was an intel management system designed to gather information about orders. He asks Daisy to use her powers, which makes Rin and the others appear, allowing them to communicate. One of the people standing by their side uses his powers, targeting Kuroko specifically. Yoshitsune is informed about Kuroko's demise and he compliments Eiji for keeping the casualties to the lowest, which he doesn't appreciate as someone still lost their life. However, Yoshitsune asks him to withdraw and Aikido mentions that they won't even have time to think about Cena if Jeni causes another great destruction. This develops more questions in Eiji's mind and Yoshitsune eventually tells him about when he was a researcher at a certain agency which was directed by Eiji's father. The two of them knew each other and Yoshitsune was the kind of person who liked to research stuff and nothing else. One day, he saw his favorite plant being destroyed but Jeni fixed it for him, saying that moving into a new home might bring it even greater happiness. He then showed Yoshitsune a VECON coil that was being studied to convert people's will into energy. Jeni further showed him Yoshitsune's research helping an amputated lady, saying that he is the person who brought them happiness. However, one day, his personality changed as he showed Yoshitsune the birth of a system that manifests people's desires. It was named Daisy and she was released, which ultimately led to Eiji destroying the world. Jeni is apparently trying to cause another great destruction, and he needs to keep Eiji away from Jeni at all costs. Elsewhere, Hatori lends his PSP to Rin, who is changing her clothes, and tells her about their plan of infiltrating the Dazefu office. Meanwhile, Eiji is chilling at his house when Daisy arrives and makes Rin's hologram appear. On the other hand, Hatori commences the plan to kidnap Cena, and Hayaku uses his abilities to turn himself into a meat monster. At the same time, Eiji appears in the meeting room along with Rin, and seeing them together makes him realize that Jeni is after Cena. Yoshitsune orders to increase security near Cena's room, but unfortunately, Hatori is already listening to their comms. Hayaku runs into Fuwa and Mary snipes him from afar, but he easily manages to heal himself. He prepares to attack once again, but Hatori easily reads her moves, allowing him to tell Hayaku her next move. Lauren also arrives, only to get punched in his guts. Eventually, Yoshitsune decides to go and asks Eiji to take command. His plan results in Hayaku getting attacked by rocket launchers, but at the same time, Fran, who is controlled by Jeni, gets a hold of Cena. Just then, Jeni talks to them through the hologram and says that he will be the one taking care of Cena from now on. Later, Cena wakes up and finds her in a room that Jeni provided. She finally finds out that Eiji is the one behind the great destruction, and Rin offers to wash her hair. Apparently, Fran's family was also eliminated due to Eiji's mistakes and was promised the ability to revive them if he retrieves Cena, but the opposite happens. Meanwhile, Yoshitsune tells Eiji that Jeni kidnapped Cena to lure him out and they can't hand him over as well. Nonetheless, Eiji undoes the binding of Group 10 and walks away, saying that they were never allies. On the other hand, Cena tells Rin to eliminate her instead, as it would put Eiji in more pain than his demise can ever bring him. At the same time, Eiji and Aikido are on their way to Cena, and his continuous yapping results in Aikido receiving a beating from Eiji. While Yoshitsune tries to find Jeni's true objectives, Cena makes her way outside where Fran is fighting Hatori's men. She starts by mocking him and makes a deal with him. The deal is that he will protect his life by threatening to eliminate Cena, but that is only on the surface, as he will protect her in reality. Fran tells Cena about his father being the enemy, and how he is trying to cause another great destruction. Meanwhile, Yoshitsune realizes that all the places getting attacked are strong spiritual locations. He further mentions that this forms a reverse pentagram on the map and a natural giant Vekan coil. Cena and Eiji are most likely the key for this to work. On the other hand, Hatori tells Cena that they will be revealing Eiji's real identity to the world, and she realizes that they will paint him as the villain. Soon after, they notice how the comms are not working inside the hotel, and Cena comes up with a plan to save her brother. She wants to speak during the debate as well, but Rin argues that Hatori will just alter it, but Cena is still confident. Following that, the two of them keep on eating food and enjoying every last bite. Before the chef serves more food, she decides to practice the debate with Rin and finally arrives at the location. She is escorted inside and tells Hatori that she is the one who called all the reporters. Just then, Jeni also appears and Cena notices that he has lost all his aura. Shockingly, he then starts getting freaky with his daughter, creeping her out. With that being said, Cena decides to finally reveal the truth to the whole world and starts talking without any hesitation. This confuses everyone, and Cena thinks that the hatred towards her brother might change. Meanwhile, Yoshitsune watches the broadcast and orders Benkei to head back and protect Miko. Unfortunately, Jeni starts using his powers to control Cena's mind and makes her blame Eiji for the incident that happened a decade ago. Furthermore, he uses this chance to blame the second destruction he is planning on Eiji as well, shocking Cena, as this was part of his plan as well. At the same time, Eiji and Aikido arrive at the place where Cena is present. Hatori informs Jeni about Eiji's arrival, and suddenly, both Rin and Fran appear in front of him as well. Soon after, Eiji arrives and runs towards Cena, only for a bright light to cut his limbs off. Cena notices bodies buried under rubble and starts screaming. Jeni then suggests Eiji join his side, as he can be with Cena forever this way. He refuses, and Jeni lets him know that both he and Cena are important for opening the gate. However, Eiji doesn't understand and keeps on arguing, but Cena tells him to stop as she has already given up on life. With that, Jeni walks away, leaving the limbless idiot on the ground. Nonetheless, he gets back up and Jeni gives Juyube permission to cut off Eiji's remaining limbs as well. Eiji runs at Juyubei without hesitation and manages to land a punch. Seeing this, Jeni asks Juyubei to step down and calls it a draw, telling Eiji that his desires are really pure. He also mentions that Eiji is fit to unleash the other side, asking him to follow if he wants Cena's happiness. The castle collapses and Eiji finds himself on a bed with Io by his side. Currently, they are in an abandoned mine that is a safe house for the group of 10. She tells Eiji that the group of 10 will launch an all-out attack on Jeni's headquarters. Io further asks him to stay there and gets on top of him, making the little buddy rise. The news about the castle collapsing starts circulating the news, and Eiji is being called the ringleader behind the castle collapse as well. Meanwhile, Eiji is enjoying a good time, getting down and dirty with the Walmart Ray from Evangelion. At the same time, the group of 10 takes their positions outside Jeni's headquarters, and Benkei informs Yoshitsune that he has secured Miko. Kagekyo also secures Mount Ibuki's Miko, and Yoshitsune mentioned that it's now the time for their final battle. The hatred of people towards Eiji starts increasing, and Daisy wonders what Eiji might do. But all he is doing is getting some action. However, he can't get it up, which results in the two of them hugging it out, while Eiji explains his past circumstances to Io. Afterward, he tells Io that Jeni can't be his father as he is a different man, but Io shows him a picture of his childhood with Jeni standing by his side, making Eiji panic. And just then, a robot appears on his head. Suddenly, Daisy appears and mentions that he is misunderstanding things as his sister will help to cause another great destruction. At the same time, the group of 10 begins their attack and Hatori starts deploying reinforcements to handle them. Mary enters the headquarters and comes face to face with another order, who uses his powers to make her dizzy. Yoshitsune wonders what Jeni is planning, as without Miko, he can't open the gates. At the same time, Rin and Cena notice the sounds of battle, and Rin reassures her that Eiji will come running to save her. Cena then asks Rin about her true intentions, as the symbol in both their eyes is proof of them being controlled by Jeni. Suddenly, Jeni arrives and takes Cena away. He then takes her to the gate where a world of people's wishes lies. He tells Cena how the gate was completed a long time ago, but they lacked the energy to make it work. Then one day, Eiji visited the lab and asked Jeni to save Cena, which is why he rushed the research. He kept on researching the conversion of mind into energy and drew closer to the woman who lived in the mental world. Eventually, he used Cena's wishes power to open the gate and orders were born. Meanwhile, Rin manages to escape the cell and Jeni reassures Cena that he was the cause of the great destruction. When the gate opened, Cena was the only person to contact that woman, and she is the only one who can make contact with her again. Suddenly, the robot appears on her head as well, and Jeni, who is trying to make Cena remember her past memories, uses his powers, reminding her of everything that happened. Meanwhile, both Miko end up getting attacked and eliminated. Mary keeps on struggling in her battle, and Yoshitsune decides to go and fight but notices Eiji falling from the sky and towards the headquarters. He falls on top of Mary's opponent and saves her. He eventually finds Cena, and Jeni tells him that she has agreed to take part in the experiment. Jeni further tells Eiji that if the gate opens, they won't need Daisy anymore as everyone's wishes will be granted. He argues with Jeni about two people's wishes conflicting things, and Daisy replies that when it happens, two universes are formed. She then shows him a glimpse of things he wanted and tells him about the parallel universe, which is how all wishes will be granted. Nonetheless, he tries to escape with Cena, but she stabs him instead, saying that she caused the great destruction. Jeni also confirms this fact, and so does Daisy. The robot appears once again and tries to make Eiji forget his memories, but Jeni uses his powers to make Eiji remember what he did 10 years ago. What happened was the Cena was too weak to control such a great power and caused great destruction. At that time, Eiji tried defending Cena, and Daisy asked Eiji for his wish. He decided to take on all of Cena's sins and put the robot to remove these memories from her mind. Cena didn't want their parents to divorce and her to be separated from Eiji, so she mimicked their favorite novel, Evil Ranger, which caused all of this. This is why she decided to help Jeni and make a world where everyone's wishes would come true. Eiji begs her not to do it, but she confronts him for making her forget what really happened. He replies that it is not called atoning, but Cena says that lies can also bring happiness. Eiji tries using his powers again, making Cena cut off his hand. Following that, Cena uses the Bind Dominator's powers, making Eiji fall down. Luckily, Rin finds him and tries using her powers to save him, finding out about the truth. She feels terrible for doing all those things to Eiji when he wasn't even responsible for them. She then stabs herself in the eye and promises to not seek revenge and do anything he wants her to do. At this point, Eiji has completely given up, but Rin tells him how Cena is trying to bear the sin alone and might lose her life. She then tells Eiji to fight for Cena if he really loves her. This fires him up and she kisses him to celebrate this change of mind. They together make another wish to make Cena happy. Elsewhere, the gate finally opens and everyone realizes that there might be another destruction. While they are waiting for the woman to appear, Yoshitsune and the others arrive and point a gun at his head. Yoshitsune mentions how he always respected him and Nahara decides to take it from there. With that being said, all of them use their powers at once, but Fran stops the time. Jeni orders Juyube to fight the group of 10. At the same time, both Eiji and Rin combine their powers and get slashed by Juyube, but Rin's immortality saves them. Eiji manages to punch him once again and attacks Jeni, who uses a shield to defend himself. Jeni asks Eiji how he will save Cena when she doesn't have much time left anyway and the whole world is against him. However, Eiji doesn't believe that she is worthless and can't ever abandon her. Jeni keeps on arguing with Eiji, but he has enough and eventually punches Jeni in the face as well. This allows Aikido to use his powers to transport the bullet outside Fran's time freeze zone, allowing it to hit Jeni. Suddenly, a giant hand emerges from the gate and none of the abilities are able to dominate it. Benkei tries attacking it, but it doesn't work and Lauren takes him away. Just then, Rock God appears and manages to hold the hand off. Having no other choice, Eiji calls Daisy and asks her to return his powers to the full extent and remove all the barriers. He then uses his power to the fullest and wishes for a world where Cena can be happy. This results in the hand getting destroyed and the door closing. This was all about our orders. Do you think Cena will be cured one day? Comment wish below if you'd like to make one of your wishes come true as well. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.